Looks like we're live, folks. Yes. So I would like to start by saying Céad Míle Fáilte Roimh. Uh, uh, Many welcomes to you all. 100,000 welcomes to anybody tuning in here for this live stream, my first live stream here on YouTube. The Irish for live is BO, BEO, BO. And I suppose you could say I'm broadcasting live, so Ag Creala. So Ag Creala is broadcasting. Ag Creala Bio, broadcasting live. Ag Creala Bio. I see there's a few comments in there already from 1847 and Olympic Song Contest, and feel free to comment there, folks. Míle fáilte ag scríobh nu ag déanamh cúpla focal, más féidir. So what am I going to be doing here? First of all, I will be renaming three countries. I'm going to rename them based on their natural features. I'm going to rename them with an Irish language name. Those countries are Iceland, Nua-Héileann, agus an Austráil. So they are Iceland, New Zealand, and Australia. So I'll be giving them names and discussing some possible names, and we'll kind of figure out one then that will suit them. I spent a good bit of time nuair a bhí mé níos óige, fadó nish istócha, when I was younger. Seems a long time ago now though. In the county of Cork, Corkig. So I have a certain fondness for that place, and I'm going to be discussing some place names that are strongly associated with Kinsale and Corkig. I have about 6 or 7 place names there, places I've been to, and they have interesting names, so we'll look at that. And of course, I'll also be giving you some useful some phrases that you can be ag tosu, nu ag creekna on for your sentences or your phrases. So they'll be useful at the start of a sentence and maybe the middle and the end as well. Okay, so first of all, let's get through a few comments first. So 1847, what, Rinatu Batoon Bader? Made a mistake maybe? You forgot Rinatu Diarmid. You're 1 hour ahead. Yeah, so when I just go with the old Irish times, so I said 7 o'clock, so that's what, 5 hours behind in Eastern Standard Time. And if you're 1 hour ahead, you must be on the continent then in France, Germany, or somewhere like that. So tá brónarm ach tá áhasarm mar tá tú ag freastal an seo agus míle fáilte. Céad focal eile. Olympic Song Contest. Hello from Croatia. Do you quit? I always thought that the name for Wales was weird. Yes, in Team Lat. And recently, it seems like many Welsh people take offence to it as well. I think a play on the Welsh Cymru would be more suitable. Yes, indeed. That's actually a very interesting comment. The Irish for Wales is Bhreatain Bheag. Bhreatain Bheag. Now, that literally means Little Britain. Bhreatain for Britain and Bheag for small or tiny. And I can understand how that might seem a bit offensive, but I think that might be a slight misunderstanding or a misconception. So I'm open to being corrected here, but from my understanding of it, the name came about because the ancient Celtic tribe that became the Welsh people ended up fleeing to the west, the west of what was Britain at the time and Wales now. And that's how that little corner of Britain got its name, Wales. It became a little, I suppose, a region in itself, a country, if you want. And I think it was a kind of a time of emigration, if you know what I mean, with all the wars and all. I'm not well up on the Ulster, the history of that area, but I think it was something to do with the people, the British, probably a Celtic tribe many moons ago who there was mass emigration to the far west, and I think that's where it got the name Little Britain. But I'm open to correction on that. I need to do a little bit more Taida. Taida is research on that, but I think that's what it is. But I can understand the comment from Olympic Song Contest there, how that might seem a little, I don't know, meechart, wrong, inappropriate, maybe. Yeah, I know. I understand what you mean, Tigam. agus míle buchas faoi sin. Nick Can, hello everyone, díhuit, fáilte rot. Hello from Garamonish, Germany. I'm not sure, did I say Garamonish? Is that German or Germany? I have to double check that. But fáilte ó Garamonish. Olympic Song Contest. Brian Frayne, hi from Kansas City. Well, there is a place. Is that in the Midwest of the United States of America? Brian, you're very, very welcome. Agus just to Ekwal, nice to see you. Edwina Noonan, hello. Do you with Edwina? Rhonda Renee, hello from NYC, Nua Aurk. Isbralum Nua Aurk. Toshi Gahuntok, Toshi Bio live. It's like this live stream. It's alive. It's gohalling. It's spatial. It's lovely. It's interesting. Neil Sheg, Neil Ain Road Egg Color in New York. Nothing sleeps in New York. Shin Kinte. Let's see. Carl Karian Scale then. That's just Rudder Bay. Comes Tatu Segura. I'm actually I'm Tommy McConey in Loch Gorman. Le Vefirnach. Be make Tastel Gora Gungora Kupla. So Gora is the Irish for Gory. It actually means sandbank. I'm doing a video later this week on place names, and Gory actually means a sandbank. Gura in Irish. So Gura is a sandbank, which sort of makes sense because it's about 5 or 6 kilometers from the sea. So Carl, we'll pause the comments there, and I'll come back to the comment after Carl, which is Nick Cannon in a sec. So let's rename some countries, folks. First one we have here on Iceland. Now, this is a country called Iceland. One word you could associate with it, Irgulta. Irgulta means isolated. It is isolated up there in the northwest, Irtushgard, in the northwest Atlantic. And of course, it has a perfectly fine name in Irish, on Iceland, as I said. But I was thinking about maybe narrowing it down to 2 or 3 other names. So the first name I had planned here was Ilan Muel. Ilan Muel. Got a captain to. Ilan is island and Muel is bald or bare or maybe rugged. You know, you Muel in variations comes up. Gomininic Oscuelge when we're discussing Oitana Laganum. So Muel is I think it suits Iceland because there wouldn't be a lot of quilture there, forestry. There wouldn't be a lot of tillage or anything like that there from what I gather. So Ilan Muel, that's one alternative name for Iceland, let's say. What else did I come up with? Tir Tinna. Tir Tinna. So Tir is country and Tinna is fire. Tinna. And I also kind of added in to that then as well. Tir Tinna is ire. Tir Tinna is ire. So a land of ice and fire. Tir Tinna is ire. So there were the 2 names I was thinking of for that. Tir Tinna is ire or Ilan Muel. So who knows? What do you prefer? Let me know in the comments what you prefer. It's a toss-up, really. I probably prefer Tir Tinna is ire because it's more evocative and it's more kind of descriptive, I suppose. Our next country then is on Austral. On Austral, that is Australia, where a lot of Irish people live, and I know there'll be a few people tuning in from Scotland. On Austral, so the first name that came into my head straight away here was Ilan Rua. Ilan Rua. Again, Ilan is island and Rua is red. So it's a red island to correspond with the dusty nature, the dry, dusty nature of the country, of the Tir. I think that would be a great name for it, Ilan Rua. Other possible names, Tir Tirim or Talav Tirim. So Tir is country, Talav is ground, and then Tirim is dry. Tirim is dry, as in not wet. So Tir Tirim or Talav Tirim, dry land, you could say. And the other one then, which I have a certain graw for, is simply Inishmore. Inishmore, the big island, the large island. Because to the best of my knowledge, It's the biggest island in the world. I'm never quite sure, is Greenland bigger or Australia? I think Australia is bigger um, than Greenland, to the best of my knowledge, anyway. So I think Inishmore is a great name, alternative name for Australia. Inishmore. Okay, New Zealand is next. Let's try a few comments now before we get back to New Zealand, my possible renames for New Zealand. So what the last one was Carl Nickan, hi from Auchlia. Yeah, Ballyauchlia, town of the Hurdle Ford is what it's named after. Ballyauchlia, town of the Hurdle Ford, a shallow kind of river crossing that the city grew out of. Could also be called Dove Lynn. Dove is back or black. Lynn is a pool after a black pool that formed around the city where it developed. Why is Scotland Alban, Brian? Sin Keshva. Nilis gum the Vefirnuk. Why is Scotland Alban? What's so white about it? Alban, what's so white about it? I'm not sure how you get the connection between Alban and white. Let me see. Am I missing something obvious here? White is Bon or Fionn. So not sure where the name came from. It's always been there. To the best of my knowledge, I remember you'll hear it in Braveheart as well when they're lining up to fight the English. They're all shouting Alba, Alba. So it's just an old Celtic name that predates all of us anyway. Nick Can, Conastati, yeah, Conastatu, Tome Carcalor, or Vunnen Wicke. Kings HD then. Let's see, where's Kings gone? Let me see. Sometimes the comments go a little bit away from me. Okay. Tashi, Arash, and Nish. Boykas Lydia. Let me see. Has Irish always been written with the Latin alphabet? I'm not 100% sure. The first scripts in Irish were written on stone, ancient Ogham stone, and I often wondered, is that where the verb fowlum comes from? Because fowlum is to learn, and Ogham kind of is like half of that letter. But anyway, it was, I don't know, to be honest with you. It's been written in the Latin alphabet for a long, long time. It's undergone some modernization over the years, but I'm not Neil May Quinta agus tá Bronorm Fuishin. Not 100% sure on that. It did have its own script, Celtic script as well, which you can still find, and that you'd find that as well. You'll find that easy enough online. Hello from Brussels on yes, Belgium. That's Soiken Elbers. Mil Falche wrote. Con Moore, do you think we would have kept our independence from the English if Brian Boru hadn't died at Clontarf and kept the country united under his clan? Well, Tasha, on a spatial con, and I'm not 100% sure. I remember researching about Brian Boru and the Battle of Clontarf, and I remember visiting the Earsmullen, if I have the name right there. Isn't that museum, Earsmullen in Ballyauchlia? I think it is anyway. And some of the, I always remember from visiting, I think it was the Natural History Museum, and there was a big display, Taspoint, on that particular Coga war. Some of the information is a bit sketchy. I don't know enough about that to know definitively. Who knows? It's a good question. It's interesting to ponder. But at that time, Ireland was quite divided between chieftains and various territories in Leinster and Munster. So I don't know enough, Con, but share your thoughts further down if you want. Seamus Wheeler, hello from Copenhagen. Well, hello, Seamus, and thanks for tuning in. You're very welcome. I've never been to Denmark. I heard it's very expensive, but I heard it's a wonderful place too. Hyannis, Bill Hurley, Hyannis Cape Cod. Well, Bill, nor vi me nis oga I mile niged noch nie. A long time ago, in 1999, I spent a summer, Chapman Saura, in Cape Cod. I spent a summer in Cape Cod, and the place, Bill, I was in was a little town called Falmouth. And I was working for 3 months in a Choc Taverna, a bar, Irish bar, August Beelan Comalishin, and a restaurant as well. So it was a bar and restaurant. The name of the place was Liam Maguire's Irish Bar and Restaurant. So anybody from Cape Cod know Liam Maguire's Bar and Restaurant from Falmouth. And I visited Hyannis I remember I was there at the time JFK's plane went down. That's JFK Jr. Timpiste. Um, it was very sad. It was in the news a lot then. Timpiste's accident, by the way. He was ettled. He was flying agus Gotobin hit share on Tolliver. Neil McKean fui Ruddy. Yeah, it's equivalent on yeah. It was a sad time, but it was a great time for me. And I visited Hyannis. I visited Martha's Vineyard. I remember going on mopeds in Martha's Vineyard, Falmouth, and I was in Boston a lot that summer as well. Yeah. So yeah, good to have you, Bill. Let me know if you know Falmouth or if you know Liam Maguire. Let me know how he's getting on. Olympic Song Contest. I definitely agree with you. And I have a friend who is a native Welsh speaker. Oh yeah, that's interesting. And he says that both Gaelic and Manx have adopted a name based on Cymru. I think people should have a second option. Yeah, interesting comment. Whenever I say on Brat and Viog, I always think, Little Britain. I mean, I feel it's a little bit awkward, or not awkward, but maybe inappropriate. But if it is based on history, like the immigration of the ancient Celtic British tribes to the west, it's appropriate, I suppose. But it's certainly a good comment. Olympic Song Contest. I know where you're coming from. Going to get on to the next comment in a sec. Spiff O'Keen from Texas is next, but New Zealand first. So Nua Halen is the Irish for New Zealand, and that's the Irish. So I was thinking of a couple of different names for this, some poetic names. One that comes to mind is Muirach. Muirach. So that means Maori, or land of the Maori. Muirach. So I think that's a great name in homage to the native peoples of New Zealand who were there long before the European settlers came. Muirach. The other name then I had was Tovnach. Tovnach. So this means oasis, or extremely pleasant place. Tovnach. Because from any pictures I see, it's an incredibly beautiful place, and I would think adding Glasgow to the end of that would be good. So Glasgow is a mix. It's kind of like so Glas is green and Gurm is blue, so it kind of reflects the landscape, the beautiful lakes and the dark blue mountains and the green fields. So I think Tovnach Glasgow is a great name for New Zealand. Very poetic, very describes the country very well. I think it's kind of Oirunach, suitable, Oirunach. But that or Muirach, whichever. I'd probably lean towards Muirach because it's kind of shorter, simpler, maybe a bit easier to pronounce. So that would be my three names for New Zealand, Australia, and Iceland. New Zealand, Muirach, in homage to the Maori people who were the original settlers. Australia, Inishmore, the large island, and Iceland then kind of going between Ilan Muel, which is Bear Island, or Tirtina Isire, land of ice and fire. So probably Tirtina Isire is probably the best one there. So that's the first part anyway. The three countries renamed with Irish language names to suit their geography. Tiroliacht is geography, if I remember correctly from school. And so that's that part done. So let's get back to some comments then, and then we'll go on to some of the wonderful Cork names I have there. So Spiff O'Keen, Diagwit from Texas. Dia is Smuragwit, Spiff O'Keen. Mila Falcha. I was never in Texas. Place JFK was shot. But hope to get there someday. Carl Anavar Fod. Mahan Far Carl. Victa. This lady is a Scandinavian lady from Sweden. I've been talking to her a bit about genetics and various other things, and she's been kind enough to comment a lot. So Victa, if I'm saying your name correctly, Mila Falcha Road, August Jastua Ecoil, Biggie Glowert, no kind, Le Couple Focal Moss Mahlat. Let comment on the comments if you wish. Good to have you here. Brian Frayne. Tirtina, yes, Brian, great name, I think. Tirtina, land of fire. Tired. Nick Can says tired time is apt. Not sure what that's in reference to, but interesting comment all the same, Nick. August Mil Buikas. Name for Australia is appropriate. Red Island, yes. Ilan Rua, maybe. Yeah, that could be. Did I mention that? Ilan Rua, I did, yeah. Ilan Rua, I was wondering if I mentioned that, or there was another name I had in my head as well, but Ilan Rua is good, yeah. Olympic song kind of Iceland, land of ice and fire. Yeah, never been there, but I hear it's absolutely beautiful, and I hope to go there. Law of Wine one day. Let's see, where else are we here now? So just lost my comments. Yeah, sometimes the comments go a bit haywire on me. Inish, Tasha Kerkaldor. So what have we got here then? Australia, the size of the USA. Yeah. Ní nach una. That's no surprise. I've heard it. I've heard it's a big place, and sometimes world maps can be a little bit misleading. Olympic Song Contest, Azerbaijan, Land of Fire. Yeah, could be another good one to rename as well. Brian Brew, Australia is a continent. Australia is a continent called Australasia or Oceania. Yes, indeed. It is a country and a continent indeed. David Dorn, Diakwit, Os Caherlock. Caherlock, David Mila Falcha. Caherlock. What a great place. I've been there quite a few times. I remember doing a video there, Fishon, a few weeks ago on the name, and there was kind of certain confusion, Kunspodach, Madeleine Anam, regarding the name, because I thought it might mean Caherlock, as in Cahir is four and loch being lake. But I think it's the more accurate description for Caherlock is a area of grazing. Like a grazing area. So welcome, David, anyway. Alba is white in Latin. Ah, I see. Thank you for clarifying that, Brian. I knew there was probably a connection there I wasn't seeing. So Alba is white in Latin. Yeah, interesting. Maybe something to do with the white-capped Highlands of Scotland. Who knows? Olympic Song Contest, albinism, yeah. Vidicta again, my Scandinavian friend. I'm curious how you say Norway and Norwegian in Irish. Yes, what is Norway in Irish again? I'll have to think about that. It was was it Lochlan? It was something to do with the Vikings anyway. The name Norway. Lochlannig or something. Hang on, I'm gonna just because folks, if ever you want to find a name or something on your phone, I don't know if you can see that there, folklore.ie. I don't know if you can see that properly there, folklore.ie. So that will have the name for everything you want. There's loads of words, loads of phrases. So www.folklore.ie. Now let's look at Norway here. So where are we? Oh, it's on Urua. So let me just see. On Urua. That's the Connacht pronunciation. On Urua. The Munster pronunciation. On Urua. And the Ulster pronunciation on Urua. So on Urua, I was getting mixed up there with the Vikings. I think I was in my head. I had the name for Scandinavia there. So on Urua is the name for Norway. I remember doing a bit of research into that, and I didn't get very far because I thought it was a very interesting name, on Urua, and there would have been a lot of interaction, I'm guessing, between Norway and Scotland and Ireland. But I don't remember what I found. I didn't search very hard about the meaning behind on Urua, but I will hopefully make a video on that in future. So next then, Nick Can, Blackpool in the UK could be called Dublin in Irish. Yes, it could. There's a Blackpool in Cork as well, and in Dublin. Dublin is Blackpool as well. So Dublin, yeah, there's probably a similar story regarding that Blackpool in the UK. Olympic Song Contest, Australasia and Oceania aren't the same. Geography is a bit, yeah, okay, we won't get into a debate on that. Brian Baru, then, just before I get back to my Cork place names, Brian Baru, Alba is derived from an old word for white, I think. Yeah, that's very, very possible. From Albion, another word for Britain, is derived. Yeah, could possibly be true. I'm not 100% sure, but Alban is the word we use for Scotland anyway now, and it's something very similar in Scottish Gaelic and Manx. And then Scotland, I think there's Nova Scotia in America, or in Canada, sorry, is I think that means New Scotland, Nova Scotia. So I think that's where that name comes from. Okay, our Eiglin, let's move on. Our Eiglin, agus anish begme a kind fui Kirkig. So Kirkig is the Irish for Cork, named after a swamp. So Cork in Irish, it comes from Cork, and it means swamp. So Cork City is actually built on wetlands, on the swamps. And that's why, one reason why it floods so much. So Tilla is Irish for flood, Tilla. And if you ever heard the phrase Tilla Olus, it means more information, or a flood of information. Tilla Olus is a phrase or collection of words that comes up a lot. So that should be easy to remember what flood is. So Tilla Olus, more information. So yeah, and it's pronounced Corkig, but there's in the Ulster dialect, it's pronounced Kirky, because in the Ulster dialect, the northern dialect, if it ends in AIGH, it's often pronounced with a kind of an E sound. So I would say Kirkig, but in Ulster it's probably pronounced Kirky. And then in the Connacht dialect, I think it's Kirka, I think. But I would say Kirkig. Actually, there's a little village of some type in County Antrim, in the very, very, very northeast, yeah. And that village is called Corky, Corkey, Corky, which is exactly the way that it's pronounced in the Ulster dialect. Again, probably named after some kind of wetland or something like that. So as I said, I spent a good while down Ag Ober working in Cork. Ag Deal, I was selling Dealacon, salesperson. Ag Deal Bia, Agus Joch, Agus Fian, Agus Milshon, Agus Cork, Agus Ruddy Marshin. So I was selling loads of Ari. Ari is goods, like food, drink, wine, all that kind of stuff. Agus hadn't shaken more done. Fi shake a huntach, phone poker gum, agus glor rodiella had a mobile phone, agus car nua, goblin. And I visited lots of places. So let's go through some names anyway in Cork. So Clonakilty is a beautiful part of Cork. It's in the west. And it comes from the Irish names Cloch na Cuilche. Cloch na Cuilche. So that means the stones of the woods. Cloch na Cuilche. That's where Clonakilty comes from. I think it's the birthplace of Michael Collins, whose anniversary was there recently. Cloch na Cuilche. Another place name in Cork is always the first place I go to in Cork, because I'll be driving from Wexford through Waterford, through Dungarvan, and then you come into a place called Youghal. Ochel. Ochel is the Irish for Youghal, and it means yew wood, so the place of a lot of yew trees. And there's quite a few places in Irish that would have places connected with the yew trees. So Ochel means yew wood. So that's where the name Youghal comes from. It's in East Cork. So moving on then, what's the next one I have here? Let's see. Yeah, when I was talking about the swamp thing, sorry, I missed a few things there about the swamp. So I remember I said about Kirky in County Antrim. There's also a place in County Louth called Kilcurry. In English, Kilcurry, County on Lou, County Louth, Kilcurry, and that means the Church of the Swamp. So another place where you can kind of get the connection with the name Corkig there. Church of the Swamp, Kilcurry. Kill on Churrig, Church of the Swamp. Okay, so moving on to another Cork place name then. A place I visited quite a few times, Agus Tá sé go háling Gacham. It's always beautiful there. Igoni, always. Kinsale. Kinsale. The Irish for Kinsale is Kinsale. Kinsale. So that literally means the head of the salt water, because there's a number of heads. If you're down there, you'll see there's a number of different, where the coast kind of comes out in very jagged edges. So it's a great name for Kinsale. Kinsale. There's a great fort there as well that I recommend visiting, called Charles Fort. So like fort in Irish, it can be Dune or Raw, but definitely well worth a visit if you're down in Kinsale, Charles Fort. So Kinsale, the head of the salt water for Kinsale. Our next place then, a place that I visited a few times, Bandon. So the great thing about Bandon is it just means goddess. Like, it's after the god. It comes from, I didn't notice until I researched it, but it comes from Bana, which means kind of goddess or like spare van, like an angel, I suppose. So it's a great name for a town in West Cork. I think it's the place that, if I'm not mistaken, Graham Norton comes from. Comes from Bandon originally. So that's where it has a claim to fame. So you could say he's very famous, very well known. Coiler, tá Coiler Idirnáisiúnta. So Bonna, and I have Bondia as well. So there's a connection there with Bondia, which means holy woman or angel woman. So Bandon comes from Bonna, which means goddess. So a great name. So that's a few Cork names there I wanted to throw in. Let's get back to some comments then, folks. So Rosie Whirl, hi from Sassana. Hello, Rosie. Diagwit, you're very welcome. Olympic Song Contest. Brian Baru, well, I mean, Scottish are predominantly white. Yeah, could be. Latin for white, indeed, yeah. So Brian Baru, although originally was the Gaelic name for the whole island and then only the Kingdom of Scotland. Yeah, I'm not well up on the history, but I'm sure you're right there. Seamus Wheeler, Lochlanach, yeah, that's Vikings, isn't it, or Scandinavian? So that's where I was getting kind of mixed up with Norway. Thanks for that, Seamus. So Soykin Elbers, maybe a new name for Belgium could be Tír Loide. That would be very, very appropriate, actually. Yeah. So Tír Loide, so means the country of chocolate. So Tír is country, Loide is chocolate. Very Cruhahach there, very creative. Mahan Far, no Mahan Colleen, no Makinta. Tír Loide, land of chocolate, yeah. David Dorn, very lucky to have folklore.ie in Team Lat. I agree with you. It is a great, great resource. It is SARE, free. It is Oishul, useful. And it is Gahuntak, wonderful. So folklore.ie works great on the phone as well. So Lochlanach means Vikings. Yeah, that's right, Seamus. Cheers. App for Corkig. Corkig, Tob Roner. Yes, Carl. Shin Cart, gone in ago. So Brian Baru then, Scotia was also used as a name for Ireland. Yeah, the Scots coming from Ireland. Yeah, possibly so, because there were, I mean, a lot of people over the years emigrated from Ireland into Scotland and the Highlands. Yeah, so that's certainly true. So Vibicta, I will find the link you mentioned. Yes, Gwyniairi Lat. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. But is it the link? What link was it? Was it the folklore.ie? So yeah, folklore.ie. It's a really, really good online dictionary. I have to learn better. Right? Well, Vibicta, we all have to start somewhere. Tatu Ekfaulam, you're learning. Tatu Ekfiausu, you're improving. Agus Maraderter Bunsaltas, as the saying goes, enjoy it. It's a journey. Brian Baru, Clon Meadow. Yeah, Meadow, Clon Clun. Yeah, so like I would be from a place in Wexford called Clonard, which I probably mentioned in a previous place name video. It means the high meadow. So Clun is meadow, and then Ord is high. So yeah, it's quite a common place name. Clun is in, and it's been anglicized to Clon then, you know. So like Clonmel, for example, in Tipperary, the honey meadow. Clon being a meadow, or Clun in Irish, and then Meal is honey. So yeah. And then Seamus Wheeler, what does Bray mean in Irish? Well, Seamus, you know something? That is a great question. And it means a hill, like a long sloping hill. So Bray in Irish is kind of spelled B-R-E fada, I think. Yeah, B-R-E fada. And the name just literally means like this kind of like a gradual sloping hill. So a place in Wexford called Bray, B-R-I fada. Bray is a village between Wexford and Scorty, and it has the same kind of origins. So that's Bray in Irish, yeah. Just like a long sloping hill. Okay, so we're up to date on the comments there. Now, I want to share with you now what is next. Some useful phrases here, folks, that you can use. These are great phrases that you can use at the start of a sentence, maybe in the middle of a sentence, and it's good to know if you're like listening to radio, or if you're watching Irish TV, or just in conversation. So Níl ein áras ar bifwi. So níl ein áras ar bifwi. That means there is no doubt at all about it. Níl ein áras ar bifwi ach go bhfuil sé go dona, that it is bad, or go raibh sé go húntaach, that it was wonderful, or go raibh sé imethe, that it was missing. So níl ein áras ar bifwi ach. So that means there is no doubt about it, but, or that. Okay, so that's a useful phrase. Hours is always good to know. It means doubt. Níl ein hours, or gone hours without doubt. Next phrase then I had scribbled down here. Tá sé rí-holéir go raibh nó go bhfuil. It is clear and obvious, that means. So tá sé rí-holéir. It is very clear. It is abundantly clear. Tá sé rí-holéir go bhfuil sé go maith, that it is good, or go raibh sé imhe, that it was missing. Whatever phrase or whatever verb you want to use. Tá sé rí-holéir. If ever you see the term rí, that's R-I fada, rí, it means like extremely or excessively. But it can also mean king as well. So because rí is can be to do with royalty as well. Next phrase then, tugtar le fistoing. Tugtar le fistoing. So that means we are made aware. Tugtar le fistoing. So fist is always a good one. It's to do with information or knowledge. So tugtar le fistoing go raibh na buachaillí ag bray. So we are made aware that the boys were running. Or tugtar le fistoing go raibh na colíní ag siúl, that the girls were walking. So it's a great way to kind of start a phrase. Tugtar le fistoing. We are made aware that. Next phrase then, good little mini phrase, dála an scéal. Dála an scéal. By the way. Dála an scéal. Is as Loch Gorman me. By the way, I'm from Wexford. Dála an scéal. Tá mé ag dul thar lár an bhliain se chuain. By the way, I'm going overseas next year. Although the way things are going at the moment, níl sé ag tarlú, that will not be happening. So dála an scéal, by the way, good little mini phrase to have in. Could be a little filler to kind of get you through something. If you're stuck for words, you could use that. And our next phrase then, a great way to start a sentence, is few a raw. Is few a raw. That means it could be said, or it can mean one could say, or it could mean it's been said that, or I would say, or something. It's just kind of like a pondering question. Is few a raw? Is few a raw? So that literally means it's worth noting. Let's say it's worth noting. So there are some great phrases that you can use to kind of build up some confidence in your sentences, and it can help you understand things from the radio, from the television, or from the fichon, from the videos. Some other phrases then, let's see, I had a few more here, just to share with you. Sorry there now. So ní nach una, that's one I think I said earlier on. Ní nach una, it's no surprise. Ní nach una. So you could say ní nach una go raibh, so it's no surprise that something was go raibh sé, that it was ag tarlú, go raibh sé ag tarlú, go raibh sé ag craile, that it was broadcasting, go raibh sé imethe, that it was missing, gur bhuaigh siad, that they won. Ní nach una, it's no surprise. Before long, riv i bhfad, before long, riv i bhfad. So it's a good way to kind of start a sentence and to kind of maybe put it in the middle of a sentence or something like that. Riv i bhfad. Dé siad agus dul siad ar a suaimhneas. They ate and drank to their convenience. Dé siad agus dul siad ar a suaimhneas. So that's a great one you can use at a party or something like that, or if you're describing some kind of a restaurant or things like that. So yeah, let's see a few more then. let's see what else we have then. So if you just wanted to say something was like a lot of fun and you wanted to say like you enjoyed it, Hatton sé go mórlam is something you could say. I enjoyed it very much. Hatton sé go mórlam. You could also say the anna spree an. The anna spree an. We had great fun, or it was great fun. The anna spree an. Vin me anna tanavas. I took great enjoyment from it. So bin is a great verb. It can mean a lot of things, but it can mean take here. So it's like taking satisfaction or taking enjoyment from something. Vin me anna tanavas. So let's see a few more phrases then, folks. What have we got here? Yeah, so another little mini phrase then. A shin roita. That being said. A shin roita. That being said. So that's a nice little phrase that you can say as well. It can kind of be like a linking phrase, I suppose. You can use it in between sentences. So if you're talking about a topic, a shin roita. Can be used there. So that being said, and then you can kind of maybe change the subject then. Glachtar leis go forleathan. So it's widely accepted that. That's another good one you could say. Glachtar leis go forleathan. Tá ahrú béma ann. That means there's a change of emphasis or there's a shift in emphasis. So ahrú is a change. Ahrú, from the verb ahrig. And because it begins with a vowel, it will take a D apostrophe in the past tense, so it'll be dahrig. So to ahrú béma ann, that means there's been a change of emphasis. Béma being like an emphasis or a focus. Not to be confused with came, which is a degree or a diploma. Came. Okay, so that's it there then on the useful phrases there, folks. So I hope you got some use out of that. So just to summarize then, we have talked about our countries there. So Iceland, we decided that's Tír Tinne is Ire, land of fire and ice. Nua-Héileann, New Zealand, is going to be Muireach, land of the Maori. On Australia, that will be Inishmore, the large island. We learned that Clonakilty means the stones of the woods. Cluch na Cuilche. Youghal is a yew wood. Uchel. Cork comes from Corkig, which means swamp. Kinsale, head of the saltwater. Kinsale, head of the saltwater. Bandon comes from Bana, meaning goddess. Just like the River Shannon, actually, comes from a very, very ancient Celtic goddess. That's where that name comes from. And we learned loads and loads of useful phrases there as well to go with that. So that is going to bring the live stream to an end. I'd like to say Gurv Mil Magwiv for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Hatton sé go mórlam, Vin me tanavas. I enjoyed it as well. If you have any comments or if any questions, let me know in the comment section. And I do hope to be back later this week. I hope Friday. Friday I have a Fishon Nua, new video, Fishon Nua, agus Dehina beg me a kind if we Loganum, so place names. So I'm going to do on Friday an A to Z of Irish place names, A to Z. So I'm going to take some names I'm going to take some towns, basically, towns and villages that in English begins with the letter A to Z, because I will be missing a few letters like Z. I think there's no place names for Z or X, but I think I managed to get the rest of them in all right. So I do hope to make that on Friday place name video where I'll just be explaining the Irish place names and what they mean in English. We're translating the Irish into the English and how that name came about. August beg sé sin ag torlu dehine lacune of day. That will be on Friday with the help of God. Beg me an beg me a cruhu on Fishon in Yov or Gamalish Gel Mark August on Law Yig Shin. Agus time ag go mór leis agus tásúlam go méid tú ag freistal an sin. Cear go leor gur mí mágad agus feici mé níos luú. Slán go fóg.